Welcome to my instructional recommendation portion of my children's literacy portfolio. For this section, I really wanted to emphasize that for all of these summaries that I am about to go and introduce some instructional recommendations for, they all can be implemented, or students can be supported not only in school and in class, but also at home with parents and parental advisors. It's not specifically just a in-school thing that students need to be working on. Especially during this time of at-home learning, I think it's really important that we not only give websites and supports to teachers, but also to parents that might be doing this for the first time. So here we go. So for oral language and foundational skills, I have chosen these three websites. The first one, I really wanted to emphasize that it's perfect for teachers looking to support certain strategies in certain foundational skills. This is because it's a very detailed article that goes through print concepts and phonics and breaks down all these things really, really detailed, and I think that's really can be confusing for parents, but it would be very, very helpful for teachers who are looking for a specific thing that they need to start supporting their students on. The second website is from PBS. I think it's a great website that's mostly videos, but you can look up the grade and the content area that you need to support your student in, and I think that's really helpful and easy for both parents and teachers to work with and to learn from. The last link is I wanted to put games in every skill, because I think children really learn when they're actively engaged and enjoying something, and sometimes this is done through games. So whether it be online or just games that you make up with your student in the classroom, they still will enjoy it and they're still learning from it. So that's my game link for this skill. The next skill is decoding. Before I go on to that, oral language, I just wanted to say, is the spoken language that's both expressive and receptive. It's also a foundational skill for reading, so that's why it's really important that we work on students' use of spoken language and how it relates to print concepts and their foundational skills. Okay, that being said, decoding. Now, decoding is the ability to take the written language and put it into sound, so it's being able to really break down what they're reading. Starts by letter, and then it works in letter groups and words, and then sentence structure, and then through themes. And decoding is, you're always constantly working on your decoding. Like, as the reading gets harder, as you get older, you're still working on that decoding, and we use decoding skills that we learn when we're little, when we're older, reading much more complicated texts. For this first link, I provided something that was more for teachers. It was more step-by-step interventions in schools to work on decoding. The second website is more just a general recommendation to support students with decoding problems, so parents, teachers, both can use it. And then the last link, the last link provides a more fun, hands-on solution, unique for teachers looking to support their students. So I really wanted to come up with a link that teachers could go to look for to include fun activities in their lessons, whether it be online or in person. Fluency is the ability to read with speed, expression, and accuracy while also comprehending the text being read. Fluency is really important to reading comprehension as well, because if a student gets too frustrated on words that they're stuck on, or trying to understand where a word fits in a sentence or the sentence structure, they completely lose the train of thought that is going through the whatever text they're reading, and it breaks down their reading comprehension and they don't understand what they're reading. So it's really important that we build up our fluency in students. So the first one is Scholastic, which I think always has really good recommendations, and it's helpful because you can read their recommendations and then go on their website later and find books that support those interventions to support your students. The next website is more geared towards parents trying to support child's fluency at home, and I think this is really important because fluency really develops through practice, and what better practice is to do at home, especially while you're on lockdown. So I think it's really important that parents be working and focused on this. And the last one is the fun link, and this is full of fun classroom activities for students to do to support their fluency, because sometimes, reading book after book or paragraph after paragraph, it just gets very tiring for students. So we need to make it as fun and as engaging as possible to keep that desire to keep reading, to keep that fluency up. For the next skill, it was spelling and handwriting, and these are the key factors in fluency, really. Writing comprehension and even decoding. So in fluency, spelling and handwriting, you need to be able to spell words and know how to write the letters in order to get your idea out. And that goes into writing comprehension. If they can't get their idea out fast enough, they lose their train of thought, and then that whole writing comprehension piece is gone. The components that build that sentence have disappeared from that child's brain because they're so focused on that one issue that they're having. It even goes into decoding, because if students can't read or understand what the letters, if they don't know how to spell, they don't know how to, spelling goes into chunking letters and sounds, and if they don't know how to sound those words out, they don't quite understand what they're reading, and then they get frustrated, and there goes the decoding, and they don't understand what they're reading. And so it even goes into reading comprehension. So the first link that I put here is actually a fun link, and it's kind of works for teachers trying to motivate students' spelling skills. So this fun link kind of only focuses on spelling skills. It doesn't really focus on handwriting, but I made sure that I put a link in. The next link down is focused on handwriting, and this actually breaks down, I thought this link was very interesting, it breaks down the explanations and causes for bad handwriting and why parents shouldn't get frustrated, or teachers shouldn't get frustrated, but rather support and try to revise these errors that have led to the bad handwriting. So it really has some great explanations for parents, but also great tips for teachers trying to deal with these handwriting troubles in the classroom. The last link I thought was another cute website to learn to help support students' spelling in classroom, because I know I hated doing spelling in school, and so when we did fun things about spelling, I was way more engaged, and I remembered it way more than I did memorizing and just churning out spelling tests. So for the next skill, vocabulary, it's not just the meaning and use of a word, but it's also the technique for determining the meanings for other unknown words. So vocabulary is really important, but I know that a lot of old school teaching techniques, which I even had to do when I was younger, was memorize a list of words and write out the explanations, or find the explanations, match the words. It was match vocabulary, and that's how you learn, but it really didn't work. And so I think I put a link in here somewhere, and I want to say it's the first link, or I think it's the second link. This really talks about that old technique of teaching vocabulary and why it doesn't work, and how to have a new, unique way of getting these students interested in vocabulary. Techniques like picking their own words to learn, and really going a different way about learning those words. And the first link really is just more of a detailed, researched way of supporting students' vocabulary in the classroom that I thought would be interesting for teachers. And of course the last one was a fun way to get students engaged in vocabulary, because like I said, it can be a very heavy and long process to learn new words and new vocabulary, and sometimes students are quite engaged in it, so this will make it more fun. For writing comprehension, which is the ability to use certain components together to create meaning in a message, these components being spelling and handwriting, vocabulary, their basic foundational skills. They use all of these and their oral language to build a message that can be comprehended by another human being. And this doesn't have to be spelling and handwriting, things like that. It can also start when a student learns to gesture when they're an infant, and it goes up all the way up until they learn to conventionally write, as we would say. But writing comprehension really begins when they are able to convey a message. So this can probably be as early as 5-6 months, I would say, when students can start using their hands. Even crying, I would think, would work, because they are using their body language to convey a message to another human being that can be received. So this is really important, obviously, to not only us as teachers, but to people as in general. It's how we communicate. So writing comprehension is really important. And it also connects to reading. Writing comprehension, if you can write better, you can read better, and if you can read better, you can write better. It's been proven in several studies. So the first link, I really wanted to emphasize this importance of the connection between reading and writing. And it also gives some good support suggestions if you scroll further down in the article. I think it just really highlights some of the importance and then gives support based on these important connections. The second link is more of how to get teachers to get their students involved in writing. So it's kind of just like, it's not games, but it's more of writing activities that teachers can do in schools and in their own classrooms to get these students engaged in writing and really enjoy the act of writing. The third link that I have posted here is more personal to teachers, because it's more geared toward the classroom and lessons, and it kind of focuses on how to help their young writers in their writing. So it's how to support them, how to really help them build their strongest writing techniques and papers. And for the last slide, reading comprehension. This I kind of found as a really fascinating topic just on my own. I never fully learned reading comprehension correctly when I was younger, so I have a really hard time reading and understand what I'm reading, and I have to really focus on those important foundational skills in reading comprehension, because as teachers we really need to work on teaching and practicing these skills with our students, and I never really did that. So for a teacher, for me, I feel like I'm really passionate about reading comprehension because I can see how detrimental it can be to how you pick up information, how you regard information that you're given, and just your general understanding of simple text that you're reading. So reading comprehension is an individual's ability to read, understand, process, and be aware of the content that they're reading. For the first link, I know you reference reading rockets in one of your lessons, actually, but I also put a reading rocket link up, and this is just a source for parents and teachers to promote comprehension in the students, because, like I said, it's not just an in-school thing. Students are constantly comprehending what they're being told and given. The second link is for, it's not only just unique and fun games for teachers for reading comprehension, but it's also geared towards second grade, and I thought that you said we could do this more generally or focused. Obviously mine is more general, but I thought I could put this one focused link in here. So it's more of how to get reading comprehension aimed towards second graders. So it was using like gloves that had different parts of a story and a fortune teller that forced you to create different parts of components of a story. I don't know, I thought it was fun. And lastly, Scholastic. Like I said, I love Scholastic, but it's also really good for parents looking to support their children's reading comprehension at home, because I know a lot of parents aren't teachers, so the parents need that extra support so they can provide the correct support to their students. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.